Yes, hello. Today I'm going to share 3 practical steps that will help you overcome anxiety. I know this is a really big one. And straight away, let's go into it. So, the first tactic I want you to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Most of the time, what causes anxiety is because we are going to do something or we think of something, and then guess what? That anxiety just kicks in. Let's say I'm going on stage to speak. Guess what? First thing that's gonna kick in is that anxiety. What if I forget my stuff I'm going to talk about? What if they don't like me? And then guess what? This is then reflected in my body. So the first thing I want you to realize is anxiety is like, it's okay. And I'm not saying that extreme ones. Obviously, if it's something that's extreme, I recommend you seek professional advice. Yeah. So these are just tactics that I want you to really use and realize they will help you overcome anxiety. So get comfortable with being in uncomfortable situations. And for me, I can only speak from personal experience. When I first started this speaking journey, every time I went on stage, I would feel anxiety, my palms would sweat, and I just couldn't control it. And then I realized I was just thinking so much. So I said, you know what? I'm going to realize that it's okay so that I can become comfortable with being in uncomfortable situations. I know it's different with everyone, but most of the time you realize it's because you are worried about what people will think. You are worried about what the outcome will be. You're worried that something might not go the way it's planned. So if you say, I'm just going to be comfortable with being in uncomfortable situations, and then guess what? You'll be able to overcome that anxiety. I'm sure some of you have seen these videos where I mumble. Guess what? I don't want to edit those parts so that people know, you can't be 100% perfect. So if you're feeling some anxiety, remember it is okay as long as you're doing something about it. So that's why I asked you to remember to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. Okay, tactic number 2 is I want you to start developing some wins. See, most of the time we feel this anxiety because we're not doing things the way we're supposed to be doing them. We're not doing things the way we expected. Like again, I said, we are worried of the outcome. We don't know. We're in suspense. So I want you to start developing some wins. See, most of the time when we're stagnant, then guess what? We don't feel confident. We don't feel good about ourselves. And then guess what? We start overthinking, and then the anxiety kicks in. So I want you to develop some small wins. And guess what? Once you start developing those small wins, then guess what? You are going to develop momentum. We all know those baby steps will make you develop momentum. And guess what? Once you develop momentum, you'll start thinking to yourself, oh my God, I'm getting some wins. Maybe this is going to work out. Because most of the time this anxiety is because we're thinking so much, with so much in our head. So once you start taking those small wins, once you start taking those baby steps and develop momentum, you will see that the anxiety will start to reduce, or it will become a part of who you are. As in, what I mean is it will become manageable. Because don't get me wrong, it will never go away. Like for me, if I'm going to speak on stage and I get some anxiety, then I know I'm stepping outside my comfort zone. So that's why you have to go through those small wins. So develop some small wins that will lead to momentum. Okay. The last one I would like to share that will help you develop anxiety is I want you to develop some breathing exercises. And there are so many on YouTube. But most of the time when you feel anxiety, the body is in that state where you cannot function properly. So one of the things you can do is, and what I recommend is start with 5-minute breathing exercises where you sit down and take in like maybe 3 slow breaths in, 3 breaths out. I can't even pronounce breaths. Or 5, and then just build it up. So 3 breaths in, and 3 breaths out, and realize it is okay. See, once you start doing this and you develop a routine, and if you do it for a long period of time, you will start to regulate your body. And guess what? When the anxiety kicks on, because you've been doing it for so long, you go to your practice. And with this one, I can't recommend anything, but what I would say is start with 5-minute exercises. Search on YouTube on breathing exercises. There's so many out there. That's why I don't recommend anything specific. For me, I like to go for just 5 minutes. I set my alarm most, if sometimes even 10 minutes, so that I can ground myself and stay in the present moment. And especially if it's coming up before you're going to do something. And like I said, if it's something that's chronic, I encourage you, just seek professional advice. Seek someone who is really going to look at the root cause. These are just the basics, because I'm not a professional at this. So those are the 3 tactics I wanted to share that will help you to overcome anxiety. So straight away, let me just do a quick recap. The first one is I want you to get comfortable with being in uncomfortable situations. Number 2, I want you to develop some small wins, which will in turn develop momentum. And lastly, but not the least, I want you to start developing a breathing practice that is specifically good for you. Those are the tactics, and I wanted to remind you to don't forget to share, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I'll see you on next week's video. And thank you too for subscribing. As you know, these small wins add up. I just hit 150 subscribers. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic weekend. Mwah.